So come to standing, feet hip width apart, and lift and roll your shoulders back. So this gets the energy into the upper part of the body. And then just very gently and slowly turn your head to the left. Very slowly. Breathing in, bring your head back to the center. And breathing out, turn your head very slowly to the right. Come back to the center. Lift and roll the shoulders. And we're going to start just creating our own breeze, feet hip width apart and just swaying gently from side to side. So in your swaying, you can lift your heels or not, up to you. So this movement we've done many times before. In Eastern philosophy, moves all the 5 energies that's believed to flow around the body and it's needed for perfect health. Stagnation comes to not feeling great, but this moves all energies. And if you're lifting your heels, but even if you're not, you're balancing your pelvis as you go from side to side. You're also beginning to balance the brain hemispheres as they're slightly swaying. And in the very popular post-traumatic stress work that seems to be very prevalent at the moment, the eyes can't focus, and so you're disconnecting the stress centers of the brain. So it becomes a mindfulness exercise. But you'll find this movement across not just yoga, you'll find it in Eastern practices like Tai Chi, Qigong, which is a Chinese breathwork system. And then just gradually begin to slow the swaying movement down a little bit. And just slightly go from side to side. Come to stillness and bring your feet perhaps more to hip width apart. Lift your toes and then just release your toes back down to the mat and just feel there's space between the toes and that you are pressing into the ground. Just press your hips, which will encourage you to lift up. Tense your knees, this will bring on your abdominal control, and then release the knees. And then once more lift and roll the shoulders, so it's opening the shoulder where it joins the torso. And then we're going to do a very strange movement. This comes into energy medicine. If you find the little knobs here, drop your fingers down, and there's like an automatic just dip just about here, just slightly down and out, about an inch down and just slightly out. And these are something called the K27 points, so they're part of your vitality within Chinese medicine. So you can either tap, or in energy medicine they thump it. So just tapping activates many aspects of energy renewal. You've said that your energy was low. I think the heat doesn't help as well. And just this weird exercise. There are more weird exercises, but we'll just keep to this one for the moment. And then just very gently lower the arms and lift and roll the left shoulder back, and then lift and roll the right shoulder back. And repeat, left goes up and back and right goes up and back. And just do this a couple more times in your own breathwork pattern. And then just release your shoulders away from your ears. Once more, turn your head to the left. Bring your head to the center and slowly turn your head to the right. And coming back to the center. Breathing in, circle your arms up. So we're now coming to the shoulder aspect. Clasp your hands and reverse your hands upwards. And then breathing out, release the grip and lower your hands down. So on shoulders, if at any point this is too much, then don't raise your hands as much, and you don't have to clasp them. Clasp, if that's accessible to you, reverse, going up, and breathing out, lower your hands back down alongside you. And do this movement a couple more times so that you're circling your arms up, avoiding any tricky areas potentially. Reverse your palms up to the ceiling. And breathing out, lower your arms back down alongside you. And circling your arms up. Reverse palms up. And this time, breathing out, lower your arms in front of you. You can always keep a bend in your elbows. Breathing in, open your arms out. Again, you can keep a bend in your elbows. Breathing out, bring your hands to parallel again. And then dropping your hands and starting again. This is quite strong, so you will reverse your palms upwards. Breathing out, hands parallel. Breathing in, arms out. So this is all to do with shoulders. Bring your arms back to parallel and drop your hands. And we'll make the last one that we're going to do. But just to note, this exercise and the previous exercise, if you were interested in complete shoulder rotation, you'd be doing this 10 times each. That's quite strong on the shoulders. Out. And then bringing your arms back to parallel and dropping. Just lift and roll the left shoulder and lift and roll the right shoulder. And bring the fingertips, we're still on shoulders, to the collarbones. Breathing in, hands out. Breathing out, hands come back. Hello, Pat and Patsy. Breathing in, hands out. And breathing out, hands back. And breathing in, hands out. And breathing out, hands back. And drop your hands, lift and roll your shoulders. Bring your, doesn't matter which hand, one hand to your collarbones. And circle that hand, that arm, that elbow forward. And then circle it backwards. And again, you'll circle, you choose how much or little you want to make your circle. And then lower your hand back down alongside you and come to the other side as you just rest your fingertips on the collarbone and circle your elbow forward. And then circle your elbow backwards. And then release and relax your arm back down alongside. And once more, lift and roll your shoulders. So breathing in, arms out. This is still on the shoulders. And then as you breathe out, curl in and hug yourself, remembering which arm is on the top. Once you've hugged yourself, you can bend your knees. Just very gently sway from side to side. So you're getting here into the thoracic area. And then gently come to the center as you stand up. Open your arms once more. And if you can remember which arm is on top, then hug yourself, doesn't matter if you don't, the other way around. And just come forward. You're getting into, as I said, the thoracic area between the shoulder blades. Just gently sway from side to side. And then release your hands. We're going to be turning our heads to the left and the right, but there is a difference between turning quickly and turning slowly. So when breathing out, turn your head gently to the left. Breathing in, bring your head back to the centre. And breathing out, turning your head gently and slowly to the right. Come back to the centre. Drop your chin to your chest, lengthening the back of your neck. And then like a pendulum, with either your nose or your chin in your mind's eyes, you visualise tracing a semicircle up to one shoulder. Breathing out, reverse that pendulum to bring your chin back to your chest. And then reverse, going back up the other side. So this is to come back and just repeat once more on each side. So this is the neck, coming up. Bring your head to the centre. When we turn our heads quickly, we engage one major muscle, and the cervical vertebrae don't necessarily get aligned properly. When you move very slowly, the head gets out of the way of the thinking process, and the very small movements are intuitive. Your cervical vertebrae line up more accurately with less strain, and you are able to turn your body, but the whole turn is more gentle, but actually you tend to go further. And it comes into a very complex and fascinating subject, vaguely around the Alexander technique, vaguely around somatics, and is particularly important in movement as we all get older, because you'll see people when they're driving, if they've got a little bit older, they can't turn their head around. It limits the movement. So just turning the head gently from side to side can very much avoid that crunch up. I do appreciate when you're driving, you haven't necessarily got the luxury of going slowly, you need to go quickly, but anyway. So just lift and roll your shoulders. And breathing in, circle your wrists up. So the wrists are another area that can need focus. Circle your wrists in the other direction as you come down. And again, circle your wrists up, looking either ahead or up. That depends on your neck capacity. And then circling as you come down. And then just bring your hands together. So everyone online, hopefully you'll know this. If you bring your fingers forward, open your palms flat, backs of the hands together, and then roll in and up. Come back to hands together. Point your fingers forward, open your palms flat to the ground, backs of the fingers together, and then up. And do that a couple of more times. And then the option is, if you want to change, you can bring your fingers towards you, then roll the backs of the hands, flatten palms together, so you're reversing the direction. If that messes with your mind, I quite understand. And then just very gently release your hands. Just lift and drop one shoulder and lift and drop the other shoulder. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, bring your palms together. Breathing in, circle your arms up, palms together, bring your palms through the center, bend your knees, and roll down, either bringing your hands to your shins, or if you're able to go down a little bit further, then do. Wherever you end up, press your hands in and lengthen along your spine, a flat back. Breathe out, soften your knees, press your feet into the ground, and you can use your fingers to trace coming up, circling your hands up, palms together, slide your hands down through the centre, bend your knees, your feet are hip width apart, either have your hands on your shins or lower, press your hands if they're on the shins or on the floor into the shins, lengthen along your back, flat back. Breathe out, bend your knees, bend your elbows, and press your feet into the ground to roll up, vertebra by vertebra, to standing. Arms up, stretch your fingers, lower your hands, and then taking your time, we're going to come to lying on the mat, knees bent. Do you need any support for your head or for anything else? Or don't you know?
Probably a small blanket on my head,
Okay.
or a towel, whatever you've got really.
And so we're coming to knees bent, feet hip width apart. And just come for the moment to tune into our breathing by resting the hands on the abdomen, elbows out to the side, fingers on the abdomen and navel area. And just notice as you breathe in, your abdomen rises slightly, and as you breathe out, the abdomen falls away from you. We're beginning to come into the calm in the nervous system. The body doesn't need to support itself any longer, but it takes time for almost the body to begin to relax. Just very gently turn your head to the left. The back of the head is supported by the ground. Breathing into the centre and very gently turn your head to the right. Come back to the centre. Slide your legs out so that you're lying on the ground and your hands can stay on your abdomen for the moment, or they can come palms down alongside you. Begin to circle the ankles in one direction, waking up the circulation of the body. And notice on your circle where you miss a little bit. You don't always do a full circle. It gets squashed in places. And then very gently circle your ankles in the other direction. And then come to stretch your toes out. Where the toes join the foot is where you begin to access your lung meridians, and then just release your feet. You can either keep your right leg where it is, or you can bend your right leg, keeping the right foot on the floor, which is a softer option. And then bend your left knee and hug your left knee into your chest. So this is an Apana movement. When we did the 5 energies where we swayed from side to side, we included this energy, but Apana energy is the foundational energy. So still holding your knee into your chest, circle your left knee a little bit in one direction. And your circle can be a little bit, or it can be a lot. It's up to you. And then very gently circle your left knee in the other direction. So you can feel that you're beginning to move the thigh bone in the hip socket. And you're giving your the movement as a full rotational movement, but it's very safe. And then just very gently, still holding your left knee, hug it in, and just allow your left knee to go out to the left, and place your left ankle on top of your right upper leg, just above the right knee. Your hands here can rest palms down, or they can rest on the abdomen. And you can just sway your knees from side to side, lifting up your hip a little bit and massaging along the lower back, the upper sacral area. And again, how much you like to twist from side to side is entirely up to you. Your hips will leave the ground as you go from one side to the other. But you can twist a little bit, or you can twist a lot. And then coming to the centre, take your hands and hold the back of your left thigh. You can clasp your hands, up to you, and very gently extend your left leg up to the ceiling. Your left leg is supported. And then extend your left heel and feel the stretch along the back of your left leg. Gently point your left toes, and then extend your left heel and point your toes and extend your heel. And then begin to walk your hands up the back of your left leg, bringing the left leg slightly towards you. And where it feels comfortable to stop, just stop. So we've got a choice here. We can either stay where we are, just enjoying holding the leg towards us, or the next expression, it's called, would be to drop your right hand behind the back of your head, supporting the base of the head and the neck, and breathing out, slightly lift your head up towards your outstretched left leg. Or if you feel you don't need the support, then you can just lift your head up, holding your left leg with both hands, and then bring your head back down to the ground. Release your hand if you've taken that option, and bend the left knee into your chest once more, and very gently supporting the left leg as you place the left foot on the floor. You can either keep the left knee up to the ceiling with the left foot on the floor, or if you want a stronger experience, then you can extend the left leg along the floor. But then come to hug your right knee in towards your chest. So for anyone with hip problems or lower back issues, often the hips are involved, circling the right knee while you're holding it like this is a really helpful rotational movement for the movement of the thigh and the hip socket. You choose how big your circle is, and it's a very safe movement. So I mentioned somatic movement. It's very much exploring the relationship of the limbs to the torso, and connects very much to the Alexander technique, Feldenkrais technique, to reverse your circle of your right knee. And this is a very helpful exercise to begin to mobilize movement in the hips, but doing it very safely. And then very gently clasping your hands underneath your right thigh to extend your right leg to the ceiling. And when you're there, you can keep your right knee bent and soft if you'd like. Extend your right heel and feel the stretch along the back of your right leg. And point your toes and extend your right heel. Point your toes and extend your heel. And then begin to walk the hands up the back of the right leg, And where you stop, that's fine for you. You can hold your leg, that's fine to keep holding it. You can place a hand underneath your head and neck to support it, breathing out, lifting your head up. Or if you feel that your head and neck are very strong, you can just lift up your head. If your tummy starts to dome, you've gone too far. And then breathing, relaxing your head back down to the ground. And then very gently sliding your hands down to bend your right knee into the chest once more. And then just place your right foot on the floor. Both knees are up to the ceiling, both feet are on the floor. You might want to take your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. And your hands now are either out at a T, shoulder width, so that's brilliant for the shoulders, anyone with shoulder issues, but it's quite a strong stretch to have your hands out. So at any point feel that you can just lower your hands to an A and start by swaying your knees from side to side. Breathing out as both knees drop to one side and the opposite hip starts to lift off the ground. Bring your knees back to the centre and both knees drift to the other side. And like all the previous exercises, you decide how much you want to sway your knees from side to side. And you'll notice that the more you sway them, the more you're going to be massaging across the lower back and the upper sacral area. So with exercises, you find them perhaps more in Pilates where they've got a ball under the bottom, you're naturally massaging that point. There's an acupressure point at the top of your buttock, and that's just doing that. So having established the rhythm of swaying from side to side with your knees, you can optionally include your head, and it doesn't matter to me whether you move your head in the direction of both knees or away from the direction of both knees. Your head is supported by the ground, and it's an optional movement to include this. So your head moves one way as your knees go in the opposite or the same direction. And again, how much you want to move your head is up to you, but you'll feel that you're including both the neck, but also the shoulder aspect is included here as well. And then finally and optionally, again, brilliant for shoulders, as your head moves one way and your knees drop, you've got the option of turning up, it doesn't matter which arm, turning the palm upwards, so rotating the arm upwards in the shoulder socket, and then rotating the arm down and turning the other arm up, the other hand up. Don't worry if you're all out of sync, just turning the hands and moving from side to side. It's a lot to take in, it's a coordination movement, so don't worry if you don't exactly coordinate, but you are moving your limbs in relation to your torso in a very beneficial way. Bring your knees to the centre and just then turn both palms upwards, lifting your little finger up, and then both palms turn downwards so that your thumb goes onto the ground. And again, just repeat that. Palms up, and then palms down. And then slide your hands down so that your palms are alongside you. You might like to adjust your feet so that your feet are slightly to hip width apart now, and possibly slightly closer to your bottom. Palms down, and just a couple of pelvic tilts. So that is flattening your back as if you're going to lift your bottom, and then releasing so that there's a little gap under your lower back. Flattening your back, and then releasing. And just a couple of more pelvic tilts. So the next time, as you flatten your back, press on your feet, start to lift your bottom a little bit, and slide your hands. I've got all kinds of things in front of me. Hands along the ground to cactus arms, or up further, you can bend your elbows. Again, if you've got stiff shoulders, there might be a restriction. Hands up and then breathing out. Start to lower your bottom and slide your hands back. Now then again, that might, if you've got shoulder restrictions, be tricky for you. So you might only want to just breathe in and slide your arms up a little bit, not up to fully, and then slide your arms back down again. And then hug your knees into your chest and rock side to side. And then hug both knees into the chest. Still holding both knees, let both knees drift away. Hugging both knees into the chest. And then let both knees move away to arm's length. And carry on in your own breath pattern, hugging the knees in as you breathe out, and breathing in as the knees drift away, but don't get too hung up on the breath, just do what feels natural. And you'll notice here that you're just pulsing along your spine at the lower L4 and L5 lumbar vertebrae in particular. So that's where all the heavy duty movement goes. So if you've got a stiff lower back, this is brilliant for that. And then we're going to do hugging both knees into the chest, slide your hands down your shins and hold just above your ankles so your knees will drift out to the side, and you're doing a kind of supine Baddha Konasana, but the feet are in the air. The feet don't have to touch, they're not going to connect like they might do on the ground. And you can stay static, or you can just do a minuscule wobble from side to side. Again, you'll feel this sort of at the lower back area. You're opening up your inner groin, so that's where you've got a proliferation of lymph nodes, so it's part of your immune system. And then breathing out, just slide your hands up to your knees. And for those of you who enjoy Happy Baby, just put your right foot on the ground and hold your left foot. Now, classically with yoga, you hold your foot from the inside outwards, but I know that some people prefer to hold it from the outside. If you're not getting down there, then just hold your shin, your calves, and your knee bends down. So it's whatever. If you can get to happy, half Happy Baby, then fine. But if not, just hold. Well done. Just hold. And then just gently, slightly rock from side to side. You're opening your hip in a slightly different way. If your chin has shot up to the ceiling, then try to unshoot it by lowering your hands. But in any event, lower your hands back down, hugging your left knee into the chest and placing your left foot on the floor. And I think we were all there to come to Happy Baby on the other side, however you want to hold under your foot. And then your left hand can rest optionally on your left hip bone. And just gently, again, you're just slightly opening into the hips in a slightly different way. And then very, very gently release, hug both knees into the chest. And we're going to come, just rock from side to side, and taking your time to come to the side. Yogically, you would roll to the right, away from your heart, but come however you want to, up. And we're going to come to kneeling in tabletop. Take your time. and coming on to hands and knees. So hands are shoulder width apart and knees are hip width apart. And just very gently wag the tail. So just sway from side to side. And it's a freestyle movement, but if you could imagine looking down on the top of yourself and that you're a fish makes us like an S shape as it moves its tail and its body sort of curves and its head goes in one direction. So imagine you're a fish, that you're just swaying from side to side, however you think a fish might move. It just brings a slight fluidity to the movement. Stops the hips seizing up. And then slide your right foot back, tuck your right toes under, and turn to look over your left shoulder. And then come back to the centre, and then turn gradually to look over your right shoulder. And then very gently place your left knee on the ground. And then slide your left foot back, left toes tuck under. Again, you're opening the lung meridians, stretching out the back of the leg. And turn to look over the left shoulder. Doesn't really matter which, we're going to do both. And then very gently turn to look over the right shoulder. And then come back to the centre and lower the left knee down to the ground. So classic cat-cow. If you've got a choice to lift your neck up, but if your neck's not good, look along the floor. So dipping your tummy, either looking up or look along the mat, bottom is up. Breathing out, initiating the movement either from the tailbone or from the centre of the back. Choose which visualization works for you, chin to chest. Breathing in, dipping the back, lifting up or looking along the mat, and breathing out, rounding, chin to chest. And then dipping the back. And as you round, chin to chest, just bring the bottom towards the heels. So an extended child. Bend your elbows to come back, dipping your back through to cat. Breathing in, looking up along the mat, rounding the back. And as you bring your bottom towards your heels, they don't have to touch, it depends where you feel comfortable. Dipping your elbows and then scooping through cat. And once more rounding. Bringing your bottom towards your heels. And then bring your elbows to the ground. Feel free to adjust anything. I need to move my elbows forward to bring my bottom into the air. If you feel that your head is too far down, then make fists or use a blanket to just rest your forehead on your hands. So this is like puppy pose. And just while your bottom is up in the air, once more wag your bottom from side to side. And then very gently come back to tabletop. And I can't remember, I know I've got several no's downward dogs. Don't worry. I know there are several downward dog no's. So either stay in cat on your hands and knees, but if you want to come to a soft downward dog, then please do by tucking your toes, rounding your back, tummy comes in, engage your perineum, and then come to keep knees bent, soft downward dog, lengthen your back, and then walk your feet in, begin to straighten your legs, walk your hands to your
your feet to your hands. However you do that, if you haven't come into downward dog, come to standing, however works for you. Really bend your knees and then just roll up. You can use your fingers to help you to get up as you roll up gently, vertebra by vertebra, to standing.
And again, to set the pose, just lift and roll the shoulders. And come to stepping your left foot out. Feel free. In yoga, you step it out a lot, but we're just going to do it a little bit. Move your left foot out more to the left if you need more balance. And unusually for me, I'm going to invite you to lift your right heel and soften your left knee, so you're just softening both knees, and come to place your hands on your waist. So this is opening your shoulders. Dip both knees and then come back up again. So this is the beginning of strengthening the legs for balance. Dipping both knees and coming up again. And then you can stay with your hands on your waist, but if you want to come to the next area, which opens your shoulders, you can come to cactus arms. So if you feel wobbly and not balanced, then go back to your hands on your waist. And then the final expression is to raise your hands higher. And you've got options here. You can look forwards, you can look up, which will really challenge your balance. And equally, you can bring your palms together. So again, it's where you're at. And then breathing out, lower your hands, lower your back foot, and step your back foot to your front foot to lift and roll your shoulders. And just very gently sway from side to side. And then come to stepping your right foot forward. Again, feel if you need that extra balance focus that you can move your right foot to the edge more of the mat. The invitation is to lift your back left heel and hands on the waist, soften the knees and come up. And then soften the knees and come up. And soften both knees, dropping your weight centrally and coming up. You can progress to cactus arms. Notice it's opening your shoulders, but you can stay with your arms on the waist. You can look forwards or looking up, depending on where you're comfortable with your neck. And then the invitation, but not mandatory by any means, is to lift your arms either upwards or together, again where you're comfortable, and then just very gently release, bring your back left foot onto the ground and step your left foot to your right foot. Come to turn sideways on the mat. Your feet are in an A comfortably apart, and we're just going to come to a Tai Chi movement. So this is again shoulders, strangely enough. Feel comfortable that you can adjust your feet, and imagine I'm going to have my right arm on top, but your right elbow is out, that you're leading with your right elbow, holding a big beach ball. Breathing out, turn to the left, and then reverse your hands so as your left hand is now on top, and lead with the left elbow to turn to the right. So you're beginning to, and then switch hands, balance your ball. It's a mindfulness exercise. Your breathing is taken care of. Again, you're balancing one side and the other, and you're beginning to invite the left and right brain communication. And then come to the center and just drop your hands. Lift and roll your shoulders. Turn your right foot in, left foot out, and feel free to put your left foot more out. Warrior 2, soften your front knee, your left knee, and then bring your right hand to your left. This comes back to the shoulder, Bend your right elbows, drawing your bow. When your bow's fully drawn, lift up your left hand, looking at your left thumb, and then open the hands outwards. Right hand to left palm. Realise it's a bit tricky if you've not done this before. Slide your hand in as if you're drawing an imaginary bow, opening across the front of the shoulders, draw your bow. Left hand up, looking at the left thumb, and then opening your hands wide. And last time, right hand to left, palms together. Bend your right elbow, sliding your hands back, tracing on the inner left arm, cross your chest, draw your bow, and then lift your left hand up, opening your arms, drop your arms, bring your feet to face forwards, and then you're going to reverse it by turning your left foot in, right foot out. Feel free to bring your right foot out to the right, if that works for you. And then your warrior two option, just dropping your weight centrally. Left palm comes to right hand. Bend your left elbow, drawing your bow. Keep your left elbow high, and then raise your right arm, looking at your right thumb. Open your arms out wide. Left hand to right palm. Trace your fingers along the inside of your right arm. Cross your shoulder, opening your heart, your shoulders, and then lifting your right arm up, looking at the right thumb, opening out, and then left palm to right, sliding along. Draw your bow, cross the shoulders, right arm up, and then arms out, your warrior two. Drop your arms, bring your right foot in the centre, and then just slide your hands down the inside of your legs and just sway from side to side. You can look down at the floor, you can have your feet slightly wider if you want to, swaying from side to side as you bend one knee and then the other. For those energetic and super flexible among you, I'm thinking of you, Patsy, you can really get down and squat almost from side to side, but entirely optional. You can put your hands on the floor if you want to encourage the swaying from side to side. That's an option too. You might prefer that. If you do that, just let your head relax. No holding of tension. And then come to the centre. If you need to heel toe your feet so your toes come in and then your heels come in, then please do that. Soften your knees. Roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Bring your feet to hip width apart. Lift and roll your shoulders. Open your palms. Turn your head to the left. Turn your head to the right. Bring your palms together and come once more to the floor. Come to a seated position. Legs out in front of you in a V. I'm going to negotiate my V here. Toes up, extended heels. Just lightly touch either side of you to lengthen along your chest. And then turn to face your left leg and slide your hands down your left leg. Where your hands reach, then that's absolutely fine. Your hands might stop on your shins, your hands might go down to your feet. Wherever it works is fine. Just relax your chin to your chest. The back of your neck is long. Chin in is opening the vagus or activating the vagus nerve, which is deeply calming for the nervous system. And your heels extended and your toes up. You'll feel the stretch in the inner thighs, the inner part of the legs. It becomes also a rotation which realigns the spine. And it's a very soft forward bend. Again, nothing too onerous. just coming gently forward, exploring the range of movement.
And then tummy in as you walk your hands up your left leg. Touch to either side of you once more, lengthening your spine. And then turn to the right. Walk your hands down your right leg. You can keep your hands on the ground as well, it doesn't matter. And then just relax forward. You're turning as little or as much as you would like. Your toes are up to the ceiling, activating the inner leg. Mindful of the back, so forward bends with back issues tend to be gentle in this case, just making sure that there's nothing too much going on. And then very gently slide the hands up. And for a change, if you're able to come to a cross-legged position, I'm not sure where you are on your knees. If not, then just stay with your legs out, or just stay with your legs, whatever. Absolutely fine. There are other people there who can't come to knee things, so whatever works for you. Just come to be comfortable, just be comfortable. And so just coming to imagine you've got a flower in each hand. I'm going to suggest you have a favourite flower. Yogic wise, it's a lotus, but the favourite flower. And as you breathe, just close your eyes, and as you breathe in, open your left hand flower. It's opening up to the sunshine. A little bit or a lot. As you breathe out, just gently let the petals of your left hand flower come together. And breathing in, opening the petals as you gently open the fingers of your right hand. Breathing out, just bring or let the fingers of your right hand curl in. The fingers might touch one another. Breathing in, opening your left palm. And just relaxing. Breathing in, opening your right. And relax. And just carry on for a few breaths. Opening your palm one at a time. And then come to finish your breath. Have a moment to have a thought for the day, your sankalpa, to wish you or anyone close to you, whatever, good wish them well, wish yourself well. And just have that thought a couple of times. And then very gently drop your chin to your chest and bring your hands to your heart. Take a bow for yourself to have a very lovely day ahead. And thank you, everyone, for joining me today.